Hello everyone, I am Dr. Antip Kaur Adwal, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Guru Granth Sahib World University. Today I am here to discuss a topic that is structural ambiguity and IC analysis. IC analysis that stands for Immediate Constituent Analysis. And what role immediate constituent analysis or IC analysis plays in sentence formation is that it helps in removing ambiguities in the structure of the sentence. Right? So let us start with the topic structural ambiguity and IC analysis. So when we talk about teaching students in a foreign language or L2, then the foremost reaction is the difficulty in understanding the language due to its ambiguity. Normally, the students find it difficult to jot down their ideas in L2. L2 is language to a foreign language. The difficulty arises while jotting down the ideas or the answer which they are very much capable of articulating in their native language, what we call L1 or their mother tongue. Now, why so? The students who know the vocabulary, who can change the form of a sentence given to them, that is direct into indirect, active into passive, simple to complex or compound, fail to write a single correct sentence when they are asked to write explanatory answers or essays or to translate from vernacular to L2. Let us take an instance of translation here. This is a Hindi sentence. Let's take an example from the native language first. When we translate from Hindi or Punjabi into English, normally what we do? We translate a single sentence, a single word rather, into another word, into an English word, and then we write a sentence. And so what it becomes of all this? The sentence is, "Aap jao, main der se aunga." Now a native student will translate the sentence into "aap" into you, "jao" into go, "main" into I, "der" into late, "aunga" come. Or maybe the student will be able to translate it into a way, "you go, I come late," or "you go, I late come." Now why? The student has translated the words given in the sentence but fails to maintain the structural order of the sentence and thus distorts its meaning. Now why so? Now why it happens so? Let's discuss the problem, where the problem lies. The problem is not with the student. The problem is how our education system have introduced the students to ABC, then the formation of the words, then to make a sentence with subject, verb, object agreement, then parts of speech, then the formation of sentence, the tenses, the voice, the narration, idioms and phrases, and maybe few more things. But what about the arrangement of these all? Okay, besides this, another problem that student faces, why alphabet A is pronounced as O in about, A in apple, O in osteo, and other variations, right? Why another sound k is produced with C as well as k, so as well as k. Now then the formation of words, how ink and pot explain the meaning of ink pot, whereas the division of the word carpet into car and pet distorts its meaning. This confusion arises in the mind of the learner, of the language learner, only to be resolved with an answer, a very obvious answer. This is so, English is such a language. No, my dear, this is not so. English has its own rules, has its own structures. But we have never made an effort to explain these students in the class. These structures to our students made our students to understand these structures because we have an easy answer. This is so. We make our students cram up words, make them use. We never talk about morphology. We never talk about immediate constituents. We never talk about morphology. Right? Now, similar is the case with the usage of vocabulary. Why the synonyms forcefully and vehemently cannot be used in the same sense? We have never told or we have never explained the student that words carry contextual meanings too. Well, let's take another interesting example. It is the usage of words center, C-E-N-T-R-E and C-E-N-T-E-R, right? We normally say center, T-E-R, is the middle, and center, C-E-N-T-R-E, is a place meant for imparting information such as coaching center or examination center and the like. Well, this is not so. With reference to Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries, both the words carry the same meaning. The difference in spellings is the result of the difference of dialect. Center, T-E-R, is a British spelling, and center, C-E-N-T-R-E, is an American one. That's it, no other difference. Similarly, that flammable and inflammable mean same and are not opposites. These are the few problems related to vocabulary. The solution of this can only be guiding the students to use simple basic words to avoid any mistake, right? And this is how they can solve the problem, right? This is how they can solve the problem of the vocabulary. But what about sentence formation? How we will tell our students to understand that sentences get distorted when we don't use the correct arrangement of the elements of the sentence. Well, very many times we come across sentences that do not carry the correct sense, and sometimes no sense at all. This is so because of disordered sentence structure. Despite the use of correct vocabulary, despite the use of correct tense, preposition, conjunctions, articles, the sentence failed to convey the correct meaning. This is what we call structural ambiguity. Let us first discuss what is ambiguity. Let us first define ambiguity. Ambiguity is when the meaning of a word, phrase, or sentence is uncertain. Well, there could be more than one meaning of a sentence. What we say, what we have written, it may convey many meanings. So when we make statements that are ambiguous, we confuse the readers and hinder the meaning of the text. However, sometimes ambiguity is used deliberately to add humor to a text. Well, to understand what is ambiguity, let us take some examples. Let's take the first example. The little girl bumped into an old woman carrying an umbrella. Now this sentence has two meanings. The little girl who was carrying an umbrella bumped into an old woman, and another is that little girl bumped to an old woman who was carrying an umbrella. So ambiguity arises about who is carrying an umbrella. Right? Similarly, we have another example. Suzanne called her mother. Now again we have two meanings here. Number one, Suzanne addressed her as a mother, and Suzanne called up her own mother. Similarly, the third sentence, Harry kept his book on the table. It was green. It is used for what? Either the book was green or the table was green. So the information that the speaker is imparting to the other person, to the listener, that's ambiguous, right? Now the speaker is not able to make it clear here which thing was green, the book or the table. Thus, while formulating a sentence, such structural ambiguities arise. This happens because the student or the one who is writing the sentence knows the context of the sentence, but the reader does not. Hence, sentence appear vague and ambiguous. Then, how to resolve or avoid such ambiguity? One solution is writing small sentences, and the other is understanding the structural rule of the sentence formation, understanding the immediate constituents of a word in a sentence. Now the question arises, what is a constituent? A constituent is any word or construction that enters into some larger construction. Let us take an example of a sentence, the old man ran away. Now let's try to understand this sentence structure. The first division into immediate constituents would be between the noun phrase and the verb phrase. Noun phrase is the old man and the verb phrase is ran away. The immediate constituent of noun phrase, that is the old man, are the and old man, and at the next level old man is divided into old and man, thus article, adjective, then noun. Similarly, in the case of verb phrase, we have ran and away, right? ran, we know verb, and away is adverb. Hence, through immediate constituent analysis, we make students understand the arrangement of words or constituents and relationship of one word with the immediate next. In a way, it unfolds the layer of a sentence to formulate a meaningful relationship between the constituents or words. This is how we define immediate constituent analysis. IC analysis or immediate constituent analysis is a system of grammatic analysis that divides sentences into successive layers or constituents until in the final layer each constituent consists of only a word or meaningful part of a word.
Well, let us discuss IC analysis through its diagrammatic representation. Here we have a sentence which is denoted by S. Sentence is divided into noun phrase and verb phrase. In noun phrase, we split it into determiner and noun. We may also have an adjective here. Then regarding verb phrase is again divided into verb phrase and prepositional phrase. Verb phrase is divided into a verb and noun. Then we have prepositional phrase, in which we divide it into preposition 1 and preposition phrase 2. Then again we divide it into preposition 2 and noun phrase. Noun phrase again is divided into determiner, adjective and noun. Now the sentence "this tree" illustrates IC analysis according to the constituency relation. This and tree is a noun phrase which is determiner and noun. Verb phrase, the verb phrase 1 was illustrates IC analysis according to the constituency relation, in which we divided into illustrates IC analysis, and the second part was according to the constituency relation. Then verb phrase 2 is divided into verb illustrates and noun IC analysis. The preposition phrase is divided into preposition and preposition phrase 2, that divides according and to the constituency relation. Preposition 2 is phrase 2 is again divided into preposition 2, that is TO2, and noun phrase, that is the constituency relation. The noun phrase is divided into the determiner, constituency, adjective and noun relation. So let us analyze a sentence to understand the equation between its constituents and hence to derive its meaning. I here take an example, that is, I am giving a presentation on structural ambiguity. So what we here do is we are using three diagrammatic representation. We divided the sentence into I, which is a noun phrase and of which we also call noun head. The main noun or the main verb is called noun head and verb head. So we have divided this sentence into two parts, noun phrase and verb phrase. Noun phrase consists only noun head and verb phrase consists am giving a presentation on structural ambiguity, that is a verb phrase. Now we divide this verb phrase into again a verb phrase and preposition and noun phrase. So verb phrase is am giving, am is a helping verb and giving is a verb head. Then we are left with noun phrase again, and that noun phrase is a presentation on structural ambiguity, which is further divided into a noun phrase and prepositional phrase. Noun phrase consists of an article and noun here, that is a and presentation, right? And prepositional phrase consists of preposition and adjectival phrase, and it was on as preposition, and adjectival phrase was structural ambiguity. So again we divide this adjectival phrase into adjective and noun, that is structure and ambiguity, and this is how we formulate a sentence. We have another example here. This is how ICA unfolds the relationship between different constituents of a sentence. The sentence is, my friend ate apples and oranges in the morning. So we have two parts again, what we normally call subject and predicate. Subject is a noun phrase my friend, which consists of my and friend, right? What we also call head and modifier, right? And in predicate we have verb phrase, that is ate apples and oranges in the morning. Now here what we have verbal or what we have verb phrase is ate, right? And then we have a complement here, apples and oranges in the morning. Now we divide this complement phrase into head and modifier. We have here two nouns, apples and oranges, and we have a coordinator here, that is and. Then in the modifier, or what is a prepositional phrase, is in the morning. In, which is a subordinator or with what we call preposition, has a dependent unit, what we call is noun phrase. This noun phrase has modifier and head, that is a determiner the and noun morning. Now this example seems quite an easy one, but the situation becomes problematic when we come across ambiguous or phrases. Now such ambiguous sentences, for example, let's take here this example, beautiful girl's dress and some more convincing evidence. Now here in these two sentences, let's take the example of first sentence here. The word beautiful, what does it qualify? Girl or dress? Which word is an adjective here? Beautiful or girl? If girl is an adjective, then what is beautiful? Is it intensifier? Yes, this is intensifier, right? So what we hear is that the beautiful girl's dress. Girl is beautiful or the dress is beautiful. The second example is some more convincing evidence. Now what is some more? What some more stands for? Do we want more convincing evidence or we want more evidence which are convincing? So this is how ambiguity arises. Now this is what we call structural ambiguity. How to resolve such ambiguous sentences. If we make our students understand the vitality of the immediate constituents that we discussed earlier, it will be easier for them to express themselves in L2. Let us take another example here. This is Ingrid saw the Martian with a telescope. Now this sentence carry two meanings again. Ingrid saw the Martian with a telescope. Who was carrying a telescope? So if we divide this sentence according to ICA, let us divide it. Ingrid, that is noun phrase, saw the Martian with a telescope if the Martian was taking a telescope. If we take it as that Martian was taking a telescope, then we will have this Ingrid saw the Martian with a telescope. Again we will divide a verb phrase into saw the Martian, which is again a verb phrase, and the second part will be preposition with a telescope. Verb phrase will be divided into saw, verb head, and the Martian noun phrase. The noun phrase Martian will be again divided into determiner and noun. Saw the Martian, right? So saw is verb, noun phrase, we have the determiner and noun Martian. The another part of this this verb phrase, the verb phrase head, is the preposition phrase, that is with a telescope. We divide it into with, which is a preposition, and a telescope, which is a noun phrase, a telescope. So here Martian was the telescope. Another meaning that this sentence may have is Ingrid saw the Martian with a telescope. Now Ingrid was carrying the telescope. Ingrid was using the telescope. So what will we do here is we will divide the sentence into Ingrid, noun phrase, verb phrase, saw the Martian, and preposition phrase at the very first step, right? So Ingrid, one part, saw the Martian, second part, and with the telescope, third part. Noun phrase, verb phrase, and prepositional phrase. Now Ingrid is only the noun head in that noun phrase. We are left with verb phrase saw the Martian. Saw the Martian will be divided into verb saw and noun phrase the Martian carrying determiner the and noun Martian. With the telescope, with will be divided first of all as a preposition, and then we will be left with noun phrase a telescope, which carries determiner a and noun telescope. So here in this division, in this IC analysis, Ingrid is carrying a telescope, right? Here, so here are few sentences for practice. I wrote the letters on the kitchen table. Was the kitchen table a topic, or I wrote the letter keeping my letter pad on the kitchen table? Similarly, Edna hit Yeti with a frying pan. Now these sentences you can do at yourself. Nigger remembered the concert after the rainstorm. The concert happened after the rainstorm, or he remembered it after the rainstorm. We have mimeographed drafts of the guidelines. He made her a good spouse. Patent medicines are sold by frightening people. Now, frightening is what? A verb or an adjective. The professor said on Monday he would give an exam. Now, on Monday is related to what? To the speech of the professor, to whatever professor said, or that he would give exam on Monday, right? Similarly, the chicken is ready to eat. Either the chicken has been cooked and we are ready to eat, if the dish is ready to eat, or the chicken itself is ready to eat, right? Okay, 9th sentence, visiting relatives can be boring, right? 10, this morning Sam shot an elephant in his pajamas. Who was wearing pajamas, Sam or elephant? Now the question arises, where should structural ambiguity be taught and how should it be taught? Well, the answer is, the solution may be that ambiguities can be explained to the class as they occur in student writing, right? And then another measure can be that a series of graduated exercises can be used as a preventive measure against the occurrence of ambiguity. Well, in conclusion, let me leave you with a final and irrelevant ambiguity to work on. Well, it is the legend on a street sign which reads, no parking on both sides. So explore the meaning of the sentence and keep working.
So this was all about IC analysis and how IC analysis can help in removing structural ambiguity. In the next talks, we will be discussing more aspects, linguistic aspects, and till then, keep practicing these exercises, try more sentences, try to improve the sentence structures of whatever you write or whatever you read, and it will be a lot helpful for you. Till then, stay safe.